couple of things that Lou said there in the piece I want to ask you about. The lack of health care can be stifling to entrepreneurship. Does that resonate with you gentlemen at all?
You know, I think it depends on what kind of entrepreneur you're talking about. If you're talking about a self-starter, it might, if they're married and they have kids. I find there's a divide, people under 30 and people over 30. I'm still amazed at the number of 20-somethings who are happy to say, I don't care if I get hit by a car tomorrow, I'm going to go start this business. Now, people like me, a little bit longer in the tooth, you've got responsibilities, you really have to think about it. I was really struck by something that Chris said in the previous panel when there are lots of unknowns, but the biggest unknown is, will these exchanges create competition and drive down the cost of group health plans, drive down the cost of premiums? Last year, for instance, our healthcare premium was the first year it did not go up more than 15%. We did jumping jacks, it was great. So that's the key question for me. And I think the key question, I think for the individual entrepreneurs, entrepreneurialism is a huge issue here in St. Louis. There needs to be more of it. Hopefully, the ACA and the private exchanges will solve more of that problem and just take the issue off the table.
Yeah, Casey, I think that it absolutely stifles innovation. With the way that our current healthcare is delivered, it doesn't make sense. A lot of folks have those golden handcuffs, as I like to call them, to their corporate jobs, and they don't have the luxury to take a risk to go out and start their own company or to go work for someone who isn't in a position to offer health care. For me, I'm a small business. I have forget well under 50, I have well under 5 employees and several independent contractors. And it's just not realistic for me to be able to offer health care to the people that work with me. And my wife, thank goodness, is employed, and my health care comes through her. So without that, I would probably, be in corporate America somewhere working, and I wouldn't have the opportunity to, enjoy the real estate career that I have with a small business.
Yeah, and I think that's really what the ACA is trying to do. It's trying to bring the people that are now outside the system back into the system. Actually, 20 people in their 20s are the largest group that are uninsured, even more than children, because they say, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm not going to get sick, why would I spend a few $100s a month on something I don't need? And the Affordable Care Act is trying to bring this whole group back into the pool, but they have to pay into the system as well. If all the low-risk people, the young and healthy people, are not in the system, then the system is broken, because then it's all the older people, the people that get more sick, that usually take more out of the system than can afford to pay into the system. And that's what the Affordable Care Act is really all about. It's about bringing everybody back into the system. And that's basically the basis of insurance.
We heard Lou say he called it a gamble, but he said it was worth it for him and for his business. Is that a widely shared view among small business owners?
Well,
to provide for their employees?
I think it's all relative. It depends on the position of that particular business. And, small business, I think that when you talk about 50 employees, it's a lot of employees to have. That's not in my definition of a small business. And I think that, our economy is built on really small businesses that are starting out with 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 employees. And hopefully at some point they'll grow and get to a place where they have over 50 employees. But it's just very difficult for a small business employer to cover that, because you've got such a disparity in what the cost is going to be. It would be less expensive for me to hire a male employee versus a female employee based on healthcare when I'm dealing with one person or 2 people. So it's very difficult to offer it in general. And when you're comparing that to some of the larger companies, they have this huge pool, and that's where these exchanges are going to come into play, because it does allow individuals to get reasonable healthcare rates where their rates are not specifically determined based on their own health history, but the collective pool.